about.
Okay.
One final question, just the Minister there. In relation to, it's a welcome development, the capital investment in our regional arts centres around the country. My own experience, and I did express this before, is that most art centres, while there's infrastructural, deficits in those buildings, the main deficit in any art centre around the country is staffing and running costs. As you know, in the Garage Theatre, even there in Monaghan, it's the ETB that staffs it, and that's the big downfall with any of these fabulous art centres that have the best of facilities. They don't have the staffing, the funds to employ the people to actually run it, to programme it, all of that. And a lot of those art centres are run on CE schemes and various schemes that are temporary. There's no continuity in it. And I'm just wondering if there are any plans in terms of rolling out of funding to actually staff these centres when we have them.
If I can, Minister, we might take two questions just at once there.
Minister, was any thought given to talking to your colleague, the Minister of Social Protection, about expanding the community services programme, which is a long-term programme, unlike CE, which is just 2 or 3 years, TUS is 1 year. It's a long-term programme where people are actually employed. You get a payment for a manager and then you get so many full-time equivalents. And you can actually employ people and you can supplement the wages. They're ideal for an art centre. I think some of the art centres already have them from the time I was in government. They're ideal because you have to have some element of income, but you also have to have a charitable body and you also have to have a deficit. In other words, that there wouldn't be economically viable and no art centre is without some support. And in support of my colleague here, I believe that yourself and the Minister of Social Protection could collaborate. The difference in cost between people drawing dole, job seekers allowance, and putting in those schemes is actually quite modest. And particularly it becomes modest when you take into account that a lot of the people who work on these schemes are unlikely to get commercial employment, and their social and medical well-being, which is costing the state a fortune, is radically improved. And the Department of Social Protection have some very, very good medical evidence of the hugely detrimental mental effect and medical effect of unemployment, and that there's higher morbidity, higher mortality. To go to the doctor more often, and they die younger, and they're ill more often, and to go to the hospital more often. Imagine all the money that you could save. In fact, you could bring your colleague, the Minister of Health, in on this too, because he's going to save a fortune if you do this. So I think that's very, very important. There's no point in building big capital projects without staffing them. And one other question. Under the archives, I understand that each department is meant to make the archives available for whatever 30 years back or whatever it is by the end of the year, and that the archives come under your department, and your department has singularly failed to make your archives available in time for the end of the year. And maybe this year you could lead by example and make the archives available from your department. I believe the transfer of files doesn't happen in time, and I'm a little bit surprised that that would happen, but maybe you could check down and make sure it does happen in time this year.
Okay,
so they're ready to be opened and so on and so on.
The archives, okay. Well, just to go back on the funding for the running of the arts centres. Well, again, that's from the Arts Council. They provide that funding. I don't provide any direct funding for running of arts centres, and also the local authorities are involved in that at a local level. Just on the community services programme, I have to say, I'm like yourself, Deputy. I think it's a great programme, and I was able to assist in one not too far from me at home. And again, there's arts involved in it. There's community services in terms of Meals on Wheels. It's something, and you're right there. People get employment there where they may not otherwise get an opportunity. I have spoken briefly to the Minister of Social, Minister Varadkar, regarding the community services programme, and again I'll be having further discussions with him, because I agree with you. Like, even in terms of the Rural Ireland brief, which we'll be speaking about later, I think that there's great opportunities there where you have a village, and I know them and you know them too, where you have nothing in the village. The post office is closed, and that's it. So you can use the the community services programme to help a community where it's not financially viable to run it, to get the assistance they need. And I think it's a great programme, and I certainly will be having conversations with the Minister on that. And
Okay.
the archives. I just get the issue of timely transfer of the archives it's an issue right across government, my department with the archives is about to embark on a study with a number of departments to see how this can be improved and how money can actually be saved on storage of non-essential files and paper. So we're doing that with them at the minute to see how we can improve on that.
But my understanding is there's a statutory obligation to have these available in a certain time frame, and that your own department is not adhering to this. And surely that's a very, very bad example to all the other departments when this hasn't been adhered to. And I understand it's in the law. I mean, so in other words, the law of the land. And I have to say, I never take kindly to state agencies ignoring the law when they expect citizens to obey the law.
I think part of the problem was storage in the National Archives as well in that respect, and we have invested in that now, and work is ongoing to improve the storage facility in the archives, and I think that it's something that we're working with them on and will continue to do.
Okay,